Friends, Joseph here at smalltownwanderer.com. We're an all-inclusive travel agency based in northern Wisconsin. We've got agents all over the nation, though, that are here to help you with your all-inclusive tours, your cruises, your resorts, and even amusement parks that you can go to as a family. When we say all-inclusive, we mean from the time you leave your door to the time you get back. We really want to help you curate a great trip for you and your group or your family or your loved one or just by yourself, frankly. So reach out and we will hook you up with an agent when you fill out that inquiry form and get you going. Today I want to talk about Alaska. This is early June, and as I'm recording this, and we're getting people now calling us about Alaska. They want to get to Alaska. It's not too late, but it's too late. All in the same regards. It's not too late to get and see it, but so much is filling up because the best way to see Alaska, especially in your initial trip, is via a cruise. Cruising is a great experience for you to engage with some different communities in Alaska and the environment and nature of Alaska. Now, many people tell you, oh, I get my canoe and I go into the deep lands, or I fly in on a jumper plane. Like, that's a whole nother trip that we're not even really specializing in, nor do we even know, because it's a whole nother niche of just adventure, things like that. But we can get you inland, we can get you see some amazing things via this idea of cruising. So when we talk about Alaska and cruising, things are already open up for 2024. Very limited space here for July and August and September of 23. The Alaskan season for cruising usually goes April to end of April to the first part of October. Sometimes last part of September is when they start shutting things down up there. So it's a short season. It's the climate up there is varies by the time and location. So to talk about that, but obviously the earlier seasons it's colder, and the later seasons it's colder again. It's rainy, and there's summer, which many people think is summer at a lot of these places is it's July and August where you get very a little more summery times. We went up there in August and it was absolutely gorgeous. Every port we went to every town we visited, we had an amazing day of weather and time. So, but the next day it could be rainy and gross. So you just don't know, but that's why you go to Alaska, to experience those things. Now, just a couple things about it as you think about your cruising options. I also go, there's several different options. First one is it a land plus cruise or just cruise? Most cruises are 7-day cruises. They either start in Anchorage and end in Vancouver, usually Canada, or they're a round trip, Vancouver round trip or Seattle round trip cruises. There's also cruise plus land that many of our cruise ship providers have access to or own lodging and have train cars that they use to get you to these other locations where you can go inland. So you do a 7-day cruise plus a 3-night inland cruise tour where you'll get off in Anchorage and you'll take a nice train into the mountains and see Mount McKinley, Denali. And you'll stay at lodges there. You'll go on the train rides, and you can go explore the animals. You can go fishing for the day. You can take a helicopter ride. All of those things can happen as you get more inland in Alaska, north of Anchorage. So there's cruise or cruise tour. The other option, the thoughts I always, to kind of, again, there's multiple things, but we try to keep things pretty simple here for us. We can diverge for many people, but for just generally as we talk about it, we like to keep people's brains wrapped around this. The other thing is you leave from Seattle or Vancouver. Those are your two kind of tour options as far as leaving the ports. So one's obviously US, one's Canada. You can't skip Canada. when you do an Alaskan tour. So we do have some passport issues. There are ways of getting around a passport on a cruise that stops in Canada, but we always, as I always, recommend people have a full passport book, even though there are options for that, just because of, again, the things that could go wrong if you don't have it. So you leave out of that. The last is, so I said the cruise or cruise tour, and then it's Seattle or Vancouver round trip, or they'll go to Anchorage and you fly back from there. The last thing is just simply the ship. Every cruise line goes to Alaska, from some of the smaller yacht like Windstar to the bigger ships like Royal Caribbean. They all go up there. We have a few that we really like, and we're always steering you to, but we're not loyal to. We're not mandated that we have to sell those. We want what's best for you. But there are advantages to some, especially when it comes to the ports. There are cruise ships like Holland America that have been in Alaska for 75 years. They've been in Alaska before Alaska was even Alaska. They have been going up there every year with passengers, and so Alaska loves Holland America, and so you get preferential treatment like in the ports. So if a port's going to fill up for the day, like another ship might have to tender out into the water, and you have to come in on water taxis. Normally, the Holland America ships are the very best ports, or very best docks, piers. Now, so that means, oh, we should do Holland America. Well, no, Holland America isn't for everyone. So it's a different vibe on that ship compared to a Princess or a Norwegian or a Royal Caribbean, or again, a Windstar, a more boutique cruising line for you. The reality is they all go to the same towns. They're going to go to Ketchikan. They're going to go to Juneau. They're going to go to these places that you just think about when you think about Alaska. They'll all have access to the same types of excursions, and literally the same excursions. A lot of times with the train ride that's in, I forgot where it is. It'll come Sitka. The train ride at Sitka is the same train that everybody uses, but like you'll know everybody in the Princess is on this train because the other train was picked up everybody from the Celebrity cruise line. And so multiple cruise lines to pick from, and you want to pick the one with the right vibe for you. And again, that's why you work with a travel agent, to talk about what you're looking for so that we can match you up with the right cruise line for you to use. So multiple cruise lines for that, multiple adventures in Alaska. It's a beautiful place to be. The glaciers are so amazing, and some of the cruise lines only have access to like Glacier Bay National Park, which is one of the larger glaciers there. It's a national park that you float into. Only certain cruises, 'cause they only give out certain permits per day, have access to that. So not all cruise lines get to go into that. They'll go see other Tracy Arm or other glaciers that they can go see. They're all amazing, but Glacier Bay is frankly one of the more awe-inspiring ones, where you go in and you're almost in a bowl, and the cruise captain just puts the thing on GPS autopilot. I don't know, but it just 360 rotates all day long as you're there. You can sit in your balcony for one rotation, then you can go up and get a drink in the front of the ship, and you have some pea soup, and you're eating it while the mist is in the air and you're seeing the glaciers, and then you can go up to maybe the observation deck where the national park ranger is talking about the glacier and the nature around you. And so you can experience it from multiple locations throughout the ship, as the ship is just spinning very slowly. I mean, it's not so slow you don't notice it. You're moving, and you're seeing that. And those are the types of things you get to experience in Alaska. You get to experience amazing villages and towns that from the gold rush and mining era that you get to experience train rides into. into the backwoods. It's just awe-inspiring. So Alaska, get on it. And if you're looking for 2023, you need to really get on it. But great rates are also happening for 2024, and we can book these trips up for you. I leave you with this, with Alaska. That is the one cruise experience where we really, really, really strongly recommend you get a balcony, because there's just so much to see as you're cruising. You're not just out in the ocean, or just kind of popping into a city, in the middle of the night. So there's so much to see from your balcony. So that's the one time to splurge a little bit more and get a balcony room. Not a deal breaker, because there's plenty of public space to see the nature around you if you do get an inside cabin. But it's a great spot to get that, to just constantly see the whole cruise ship experience is the experience. All right, reach out to smalltownwanderer.com, smalltownwanderer.com, and we will help you curate your all-inclusive cruise to Alaska.